Okay, Joe, how would you define power?
Simply, it's like any leadership skills. It's a framework. It's a group of principles that helps you to achieve purpose.
I like the purpose. You emphasize on the word purpose, and I really can relate to this. This is where it's the compass of the leadership, when I say it.
Absolutely.
Saif, what about you?
Oh, it's tough to follow Joe with that answer. I feel, look, I kind of agree with what Dr. Pfeffer says, that power is a game, and it's a game that needs to be played. So to me, it's a game. I think that would be my answer. Yours?
Okay, again,
you put us on the spot. We're going to put you on the spot.
Okay, that's a great question now for me. I believe power is having the right people with you, because once people believe in you, this is where you can inspire, and this is what make you a powerful leader. Definitely, it's something that we can learn, we can elevate with the techniques that we have discussed today. Welcome to Lead Talk. This space came out from Stanford Lead, where we will be discussing different topics related to leadership.
Lead Talks is designed for future-ready leaders, change makers, and pioneers in their own industries. Today, we are excited to share with you our first episode, and our topic is about the power to lead.
And to kick things off, today we are having our first guest, Joe Labaky. He's a transformational leader, a strategist, and a fellow of Stanford Lead program. Today, we will be discussing the game of power with Joe and take his input on different angles.
So, Joe, we've known each other for about a year. That's when I graduated from the Stanford alumni. And the first meeting we had, everybody was talking about the most popular course by Dr. Jeffery Pfeffer, which is Power to Lead. And just for the context of our audience, he has the 7 rules for power. So I'll just basically say this for our audience. So basically, the 7 rules of power starts with getting out of your own way, breaking the rules, showing up in powerful ways, networking relentlessly, creating a powerful brand, using your power, and understanding that power is politics. So we'd like to hear from you. How did this course affect you? Did it change your life? Did you not agree with it? And we'd like to hear from you.
Thank you for the powerful introduction, Hala. This is a lot of transformation talking about my profile. So again, which showed that the course has a good impact. Thank you for having me part of your first episode. I'm pleased to be here, first seeing you, and second, sharing with you my experience.
It's our pleasure as well.
So I would like to take it as first as a lead program. It was a very important, and it is still a very important transformation experience for me. Until today, I'm so passionate about the program and staying close to the community that I never stopped taking extra elective courses. And currently, I'm enrolled in the course Coaching Leadership, Coaching Skills for Effective Leadership. So the timing of the program in general, the course specifically, were very important for me. I was in a transition phase in my career where I was preparing in my organization to get a promotion from a general manager to a chief ops, a COO of the group. So the program in general, and specifically power, were very important, taught me a lot of important skills, and opened my eyes on very specific leadership skills and leadership principles. I agree with the course. I cannot say I agree 100% with the course. I see it as very important for every person to see how the principles, how the framework, how the skills applies to them personally. I think no course or no skills or no course actually should change the values of a person. So I still stick to my value. I learned many things, like you mentioned, networking. This is a very important aspect in my life. At professional side, working on business development, sales, etc., and sometimes at personal. Obviously, I don't abuse the power of networking. And one important thing basically is the weak ties, that it was a new thing for me, drafting your power map and so on. So all these principles and frameworks were very important. Creating your brand, like I had a LinkedIn profile, but it was so quote unquote lousy. So through the course, I learned that I need to improve my LinkedIn profile because this is my brand image. This is how people see me and perceive me. And I hired a consultant to help me improve my LinkedIn profile, among many other things, understanding the concept of how you need an organization to get your resources, how you need to convince the board, the leadership in the organization, the C-level on obtaining resources that will help your team to succeed on delivering their objective. But I do insist that there is no one way where you need to apply all the skills in the book. Many things I disagree with Dr. Pfeffer. Many things I see that could be against my values. So I stick to my values while using the principle that helps me to improve in my career and build strong leadership skills.
Hala, you took the course too, right?
Yes, it was one of the courses that I've heard a lot about it, and I couldn't wait till I start the course. I believe, I agree with you, Joe, it has a lot of techniques because power is not only about personality. What we learn, it's about strategy, it's about technique that you need to sit and work on it. Although there is a lot of technique we have learned, but I feel there is some of the techniques I disagree with it because I felt at some point it doesn't fall within my maybe the culture, the environment, things I believe in. Yet it might give you power, but at the same time, the definition of power might be different from one person to one person.
Yeah. I mean, it was curious because when I took the course, some people were calling Dr. Pfeffer the devil. He's teaching techniques, remember, right? Yeah. So it was quite intriguing from my end to kind of see why people, and then you had people on the other side saying, "Oh my God, it changed my life," and they basically took it as the I Ching and took that book, applied everything, and you see it right on the WhatsApp groups and the on the social communities that we have, how people have used it and said that it transformed their lives. So that's absolutely great. Big question though: can it be taught? Can power be taught?
Great question. I would look into it like any leadership skills. You can develop it. It's an eye-opener on many techniques, and you mentioned many principles, many frameworks, etc. Learning from power or from the course or from the books, because I read the book twice, okay, and I'm even now planning to take the course again after 3-4 years. Okay, just as a refresher on what I learned and see.
And reflection as well, because you learn, you apply, and now you reflect.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so practically, obviously, my experience, it helped me improve many things. More courage, my brand, the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you sit, all the things, yes, I learned. But I think also you need to have few things in yourself that basically the course will help you to develop further, okay? You can hire a coach to play tennis, as an example, okay? But if you don't have the basic skills for tennis, you can spend more and more hours training and etc. You will never reach the level of Nadal or Federer. So you need to have something in you that is natural. However, obviously, the course will help you to improve. And it's an eye opener, and I like Hala approach on the reflection. It helps you to reflect more and more on your behavior. And through the course, I met a coach as well that I'm still working with them until today, not specifically only on power, but majority of the coaching basically is around power.
So what you've been talking about is basically the first principle that Dr. Pfeffer says, which is getting out of your own way, correct? So where he says you need to learn certain techniques, etc. Hala, I'm curious again. What are your thoughts? Do you think power could be taught? Do you also agree with all the principles that are there?
I would start by my course facilitator. He always leave a message for me, which was sometime a trigger for me, and sometimes it's keep stuck in my mind, that don't leave power to the bad people. And so always end the module with this sentence, which make me go back, even though that some of them I didn't agree, but I start to find a way in each one that even if it doesn't reflect with what I believe, I try to take a little bit from it. To answer your question, again, it's a strategy. It can be teachable. Maybe some people, they have the personality, they have the charisma, but these are only tools. So people can learn how to be powerful in certain conversations, certain meetings, that they can put their ideas And let it be sometime not only natural power, sometimes people can learn how to be powerful in certain situations.
Yeah. So we agreed that it can be taught. I guess both of you kind of have an agreement of saying it kind of changed my life, but I don't fully agree with the principles. I know you have some strong reservations on some of the principles that are there. Maybe, you could share that with us.
Okay, so one of the things that I remember we learned, it's about you need to work on the relationship by praising others. For me, I don't see myself in that position. Maybe some people feel that networking through praising someone that will get them what they want. But for me, as a person, as a Hala, I can sense that some people like to make transactional relationship, which I understand that there is a goal. I would share the relationship with people that we have shared value rather than shared goals, because this is where the natural things will come and you have the same purpose. So this is where, for example, yes, it's important to do some networking relationship to achieve some goals in your life, but you should think about how you need to do it,
Yeah.
But I have to interrupt you here. Sorry, Saif. Why we assume that praising is negative? Why we assume that praising is not genuine? Why we assume that praising is transactional? So today, when I met Saif, I can simply tell him, you look great. And I've been genuine that, okay, you look great. So this will make Saif happy and will create some, bonding,
yeah.
and will break the ice.
It did just make me happy.
I'm taking it as an example, okay? But let's not compare, let's not assume that there is a contradiction between, you mentioned also power and bad. It doesn't mean if a person is powerful, it's a bad thing, but also it doesn't mean it's good. The same thing that if a person praise a driver, a taxi driver, praise when I go to the office, I smile actually, and I praise the receptionist with the concept to motivate her. Like, I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is okay, etc., etc. Oh, things are great today. I like the smell of the entrance here. This is part of it, is a genuine praising that makes her happy. And basically, I will make the communication. And if you recall, we took it in one of the courses as well, that this will bring the communication from a high level to a lower level as well.
Definitely. Look, Joe, what you've mentioned is totally, I can relate. And it's something should come by natural, that we praise people for the good things. But what was mentioned at some time, that praise someone to make your, let's say, project go through. I don't believe in that. I would convince someone with my project or the outcome, but through different technique, through maybe the results, maybe explaining what is the idea about, maybe putting strategy to convince. What you say, it's very relevant and convenient. But what I've meant, some of the learning, that if you praise someone, if you praise your manager or a leader, that you will get what you want.
Yep.
And it is there somewhere in reality.
Generally, this is extreme. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Assume we work together and you pitched for an idea and I like the idea and generally you have my buy-in. Okay. I have some concern. So look at this scenario where I start. I like your idea, Hala. It looks fantastic and I'm going to bring value to the company. The team going to learn from what we're going to implementing, etc., etc. So this is praising, right? Because I'm praising your idea, and maybe we can add to it, and we need to do 1, 2, 3, and we need to elaborate on 1, 2, 3, and we need to amend it with 1, 2, 3. So with this introduction versus great, but let's do 1, 2, 3. So your approach to this communication, you're going to be more open to negotiate and discuss basically what I'm proposing as an amendment. So this is a mean where you're praising a person, just somehow being genuine. For me, I believe this is the principle. This is the core. This is the foundation. If you're genuine, you're not fake. Okay, again, I will go to the safe example today. This is very important,
not to be fake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see it a strong approach, a strong start at least.
So I'm just going to interject here just to play the devil's advocate. So Dr. Pfeffer said, it is less about your skill sets and it is more about your social interactions per se. So what he's saying is, if you network, if you praise, if you are useful to the top management, your skill sets don't really matter, right? So basically, I could be the worst person on earth in my job, but if my management likes me, and I praise them the whole time and I'm being useful to them, then I'm going to get promoted. And I think this is where the biggest debate surfaces. So I know you don't agree with it, right? That's what you've been saying.
At some point, yes, but mostly, yeah, because I believe in genuine leadership. I believe in the people that they take power in a very positive. And Joe, what you've mentioned is, for me, it's part of the leadership treat that you need to treat everyone. You need to talk them nicely. So this definitely, it's something we need to have it, But as you said, also to come back to you, Saif, that because if my management like me, for example, then but it's about what the people might go with you if you win, okay? But will they follow you as well? This is also, we need to differentiate about leadership. People, yes, they will cheer. There is a leader who's winner, okay? In my personal opinion, yeah, that's great. But go genuinely, and this person, if today he's not having that position, will people follow that person? You might find it some people, because they are genuine in the power, how they use it. They have a purpose. Even if they leave an organization, they, continue on their life, people still remember the impact that they left on them.
Yeah.
So this is where I see, the differentiation between both scenarios.
Yeah, but I would like to look into it the way I reflected on the book and the course. I believe, and this is my opinion, that in many cases, things in the course and in the book went extreme.
Yeah.
And the reason why it went extreme, I saw it like Dr. Pfeffer wanted to shake the people who are basically shy to go outside their comfort zone, etc. So it's a tactic where he went extreme to make sure that if you're not able to go outside your comfort zone, where your mindset is the first barrier to apply power, to network, to socialize, etc., and look for your resources and look for the interest of the organization through networking and other skills. Okay, practically, it's a shock where basically if another person had the basics, they will not be that much impacted by it. So I didn't look into them that it's an extreme. I look into them like it's a tactic where the professor needed to put real impact on few people that do not have at all the basics of the principle.
So, I mean, there are people that kind of feel that, no, you have to praise and you have to follow 7 rules. But I think it might be circumstantial also. It depends on the environment that you work in, the people that are around you, the leadership, the management. And I guess, not everybody is structured in the same way. But, we talked a lot about networking. Between the 3 of us, I'm probably the weakest when it comes to networking. Whether you're using, social media, in person, etc. And there's a lot of focus on it in the topic, and a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on networking. Joe, what's your perspective on it?
I see it very mandatory, very important from all aspects. Okay, again, as I said, from professional, from personal approach. In the absence, network is an important way. It's an important mean, again, the same meaning, okay, where a person can create a network and give and take to the people. And as I said, I never abuse my network. Even I don't mix between my professional and my personal network, either also my personal network is my personal network and my professional network is my professional network. And how important for all of us as leaders in large organization, where you need to network with potential customer, you need to communicate with others, you need to network internally. As leaders, we have a vision that we need to implement, and we need to motivate others and communicate it to others to implement it. So if you don't network, how you will be able to communicate your vision, how you'll be able to communicate your ideas, how you'll be able to build trust. So I see network is a foundation, is mandatory for the success of organization. I'm a strong believer of networking, of good networking, and even as an personal, as an individual side, I see it very important. The way I see it, and I don't want to be perceived opportunistic, okay, because I never mix networking and opportunity, okay, and being opportunistic, okay. Practically, I see it as like, I don't want to use the word trading, okay, because it might perceived negative, but it's a way that today, if Saif is looking for a car, and I know that Hala can help him find a car. So why I don't use this network to help Saif and Hala? Okay, same concept. If I know that a friend is looking for a job, and I know that Saif is looking for a person who fits this job, why I don't use this network in a positive approach to support and help Saif and support and help this person?
For me, I totally agree with you, Joe. Networking is very, very important. And the one thing that make me pause and, reflect when I was doing the course, the network map. So in Dr. Jeffery book, one of the technique that he gave us that we need to look at our network and look who are the people that we meet with often and take our feedback from them, or whatever initiative we are doing it. What I notice when you start to reflect and write down, you find sometimes yourself you are restricted to a certain type of people or number of people. So they start to brainstorm with us who are the people that you feel it's powerful to build a network with them and how they would be impactful for you as well. And it's not only within your organization, it might be on personal level, it might be even outside the network, might be customer, providers, So when I start to look at this and take input and feedback, it hit in two ways. First of all, I start to build my network and I found it really relevant. The amount of exposure I start to get, number one. Number two, I start to get a feedback. Some of them was very positive that I didn't see that, I'm doing that great, So this is something positive. And some area of development, people say, why you don't do this? Why you don't do that? So again, this is, for me, it's a beneficial, that has been done. Third, when I start to network with the people within organization that I didn't interact so many, they become like people who mention my name in some opportunity, some meeting rooms that I'm not there. So I totally believe the network is something is very important. Maybe the definition of networking, we know it that it just go and connect with others, but it has bigger scope that we can work on it.
Yeah. Again, I might be a little bit biased because I'm a very people person and I enjoy meeting people, sitting with people, chatting like we're chatting now with people. So I might be biased, but for me, networking is a foundation principle. And as executives or as leaders, we cannot live without networking.
And you build your tribe with the people that, have a network with them.
Going back to your network, when I was taking the course, I looked into my LinkedIn profile and actually, literally what you mentioned, I noticed that majority of my connections, right, basically are either from the construction industry, I work in the construction industry, or from the region where I live. I live in Dubai. So majority of my connection, my network, basically is from either this industry, where I saw, okay, so why I'm limiting myself to this type of network? Why I don't make it more diversified? And Stanford has one of the big advantages, which is basically networking. And us as lead community, one of the most important thing basically is our networking.
Sure.
I see it mandatory, and I see it a requirement for a person to succeed in their life. But again, a positive network.
So on that, you mentioned that you keep your professional network segregated from your personal network. How do you do that? I mean, I see it as something, because I can meet somebody at work and they eventually become friends, or, I need to use my professional network to help maybe a friend of mine or to assist or to make connections, etc. How do you segregate that then?
Great question. And practically, there's no a defined border or a line. It doesn't mean that I don't become friends with colleagues. And the opposite, majority of my personal friends are basically my colleagues. However, the way I do it is I differentiate. So if we work together and we're friends, okay, the way we behave at work has nothing to do with the fact that we're friends. So assume you're my boss at work and we're friends. I don't abuse the fact that I don't perform or I don't deliver of my requirement because my boss is my friend. Okay. And the opposite, once we're outside the office, we don't behave like you're my boss. Okay. So we behave as friends. And from my work environment, I have many friends and I use it as a strength to deliver basically to the company. So this friendship, this bonding, I see it an advantage for the organization because we have certain synergy and we have this friendship. It creates a better team to deliver to the organization.
Hala, do you do the same thing? Do you segregate, or is it just?
I do. Yeah, I do. I believe I like my personal life to be separate. I like privacy, but as the same time, I start to dedicate time to build network within my domain. And I found it very positive, to be honest. And it's encouraged me more and more to spare time to go to conference, to see who are the people that have the same purpose of me. And this is today what we are doing here as this podcast. I see that we relate that we have a purpose. We want to share our knowledge. We want to inspire people. Want to discuss, different topic from what we have usually. So I really believe in that. Yeah.
So it's a great example. Before the course and even before the program, me attending a conference or an exhibition or being a speaker on a panel, etc. In my perception, this was a waste of time. So the program in general and the course in specific were an eye-opener where, no, this is not a waste of time. I'm going to go meet people, learn new things, network again, learn new things, because again, learning for me, sitting here today, is learning, which is a very good experience and development for any leadership and leadership skills. So practically, this was a game changer through the course that, okay, no, this is not a waste of time. This is part of my responsibility. I assure you, if I didn't attend the course or I didn't take the course, maybe you inviting me for a podcast, I will tell you, sorry, I'm busy, I cannot make it. So today I made the point, no, it's a good idea to meet you, to discuss these ideas and to put it, hoping in the future on social media, etc., etc. So this was one of the learning that I had from the course, that no, this is not a waste of time. Is it a waste of time basically going and meeting people and learning new things and while is it really staying all day in the office, replying to email, working on report or reviewing report, etc., etc.? Why is this not a waste of time?
Look, for me, personal branding, I always believe in it, even before I take a course, because I just want to comment on the same. And always people ask me, why you are doing this? What's your objective? You want to be influencer or something? And I always say, no, I just love what I'm doing. And I like to share sometimes videos, sometimes I start to be part of panel discussion. Then at some point you find people that might be criticizing. She's all over the place, she wants to be here and there. But for me, I always believe this is something is to be visible, not for a purpose to be taken and how people, see it or define it. But again, when I took the course and then I start to read and hear what they are saying, that visibility is very important, networking. So my CF, every time he coached me, he say, Hala, you are doing great. At that point, you don't need to add anything. But what I learned that, yes, visibility is important, but again, make your visibility with a purpose, not
Absolutely.
just to be there or being awarded or being on panel discussion just for the visibility. And he tried to be a combination as a leader between I have a purpose, I care about people, and at the same time, I want to use my power in achieving something I'm aiming for.
And I think this is what we learned in the course, and this is the advantage of the course, applying it, not only for power, for many things in life. If we don't have purpose, why we need to go on social media?
It, definitely.
Like lately, I've been very active posting on LinkedIn, and not for the fan to post or get number of impression or get more followers or network, etc. This basically, I thought that I have few ideas, why I don't share them on LinkedIn, basically to hear others' opinion, to voice my principle and my opinions to others as well, and so on, as an experience sharing and hearing feedback from others. And going back to personal and professional, just to give you an example, like my Instagram profile is 100% private. I might be wrong, but I see that Instagram is something personal, where I post things related to maybe my family, myself, my vacation, where I don't want everyone to see it. Again, it might be wrong perception, but I don't take, like, say, social media ultimately, like I post everywhere, etc. For me, LinkedIn, the opposite. I don't post personal things on LinkedIn. I see LinkedIn a professional, so I voice through my post, etc., what I believe are the principle of leadership, what I learned, etc., to convey it and to spread it across my net.
Sorry, Saif, what about you? What do you think of visibility?
So, I mean, my wife says I need to be a bit more visible. I kind of blur the lines between social media platforms. So my profile, for example, Instagram is kind of public, but it's for no reason, to be honest. LinkedIn is obviously my kind of my professional network. I think obviously, look, you're not going to grow and you're not going to get more senior positions. Or if you're in a startup and you want to build a business, networking is important. So your visibility has to be super important, I think. But I kind of want to move into a different area of networking. And I think a concept that I personally need to work on a bit more is the close connections versus the loose connections, right? So because a lot of people say networking takes a lot of time. And if you remember, he uses the example of Keith Ferrazzi quite often as a master networker, where they say, a close connection is somebody that you spend a lot of time. A loose connection is where I send a happy birthday, maybe a Christmas card or an Adha card or something like that from time to time. Do you guys apply that, like the loose connection, close connection concept?
For me, yes. Yes, there is a lot of people that I keep my interaction with them, but it's not often. But again, this is where I believe what I'm mentioning. I keep my natural relationship with people, not because only when I want to need them, I will jump. This is something continuously I do. Maybe, yes, they are not that close because of our busy schedule or anything. But once I meet them, it's like yesterday we've met, whether it's personal or professional. So I like to keep the momentum because definitely we cannot have everyone close, right? You always have these two different types.
A great question. Honestly, when you were asking the question, I said, okay, so where you classify yourself or where you put yourself, not intentionally, but I see I have more what you call loose connection, loose network,
Loose connection,
connection, and not intentionally. And I have very few in the strong, what you call it, strong
close connection, strong connection,
strong connection. But again, not intentionally. And again, I'm not into politics, and I'm not applying for presidential in any country, etc., for president in any country. But I like when I go to a place, I enjoy like meeting people that I know. So if I'm traveling, I'm at the airport, I feel happy. Oh, I met X, I met Y that I know. And the more I meet people, I feel, okay, that's nice. So my network is expanding. And not again for the joy to have a network, but basically I see it as strengths. And I assure you that majority of the cases in my network, and not intentionally, I tend more helping others rather than other helping me, not with any bad intention, but practically I see it a purpose to have a strong network where I will be able to introduce X to Y, where X will help Y, and so on.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the way I took it from a loose connection is I've traveled and I've had friends that have moved out of the country, and by virtue of our busy lives, especially like I said, right, we live in Dubai, it's a rat race. I do, I used to have close friends that just moved, and I kind of lost touch with them. So that concept of the loose connection, I use it as in, remember this person's birthday. Remember, it's not because I need anything out of him, but you never know how your paths are going to cross. And ironically enough, the other day I was with a friend of mine starting his own business, and he wanted a connection. I was like, I'm trying to think. And then I said, oh yeah, you know what? I remember my friend of mine who works at this place in this country. I haven't spoken to him in years. And then I was like, you know what? I actually should put more of an effort towards the loose connections. So yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily, people might think networking is about how can I get something out of someone, but it's
not always the case, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the purpose is very important. So whatever we do it for a purpose. Yeah. So why we do it?
And I think there is different type of people. I'm type of person, I don't like to sense the person in front of me. Just contact me when they need something. Yeah. It's different personality. I sense, I don't like it. But when I see someone really build, a good relationship, we always be in touch. You check on them, they check on you. Genuinely, you would be able to help them without even asking. This is how I see sometimes also relationship. And sometimes, people build relationship based on goals, let's say, to achieve
for
goals.
Me, I don't mind if someone calls me for help or requesting for something. Okay, I don't mind. And I don't see it opportunistic, especially that we live in a very busy world. We're very busy, etc. A lot of things going on. So,
But I like to help people, by the way. You need to ask
Yeah.
about me,
I
being
don't.
someone in
I
human
don't mind. So
resource.
if a person didn't call me
Yeah.
for a year, then they call me. Okay, Joe, we want 1, 2, 3. I don't mind, and I understand because I don't like people to see that. Okay, Joe is not calling me or is not in touch with me.
I don't mind, but for me, I wouldn't do it as well. So maybe that's why the expectation,
Yeah, I would be straightforward. So
Yeah.
if like we didn't talk for months, and I need
Month is
something
okay.
from you, yeah, I don't mind calling you. Listen, how's things,
Yeah.
etc. And do you mind 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I mean, I guess here is also the way you're perceived makes a huge difference, right? So if people know who you are, even if you call them maybe after a year or two, they know Joe, they know.
Which going back to building the right brand, so
True.
which is part of the course principle.
I kind of have a question here about the cost of power, right? So, and I'm just gonna start with one thing. Dr. Pfeffer at one point said, "I don't have power." And, I asked, I think we've had the same course facilitator, CF Grisha. I asked him, he said, no, I don't kind of agree with him. But ask him. And I asked Dr. Pfeffer, I said, you said you don't have power. And he said, yes. And he related why he doesn't have power to the cost of power in terms of time, in terms of relationships, etc., etc. Do you believe there's a cost of power? And did you maybe cultivate enemies across, growing in your organization or across your career? Do you agree with it? Do you think, is it worth that cost also?
Yeah, obviously, everything has a cost. Nothing is for free these days, okay? So, yeah, many examples, like the moment that you try to create a brand, even for organization, let's not look into it only individual. The more the brand is known, even for organization, the more you see that it is building competition, it is building quote unquote enemies. I don't like to use the word enemies in the book. Doctor used a lot the word enemy. I don't like to use the word enemy, but obviously the more you're known, the more you put posts on LinkedIn, the more you need to be open to receive critiques, to receive feedback, etc. If you don't post, you will not receive anything. So obviously it has a cost. Time is a cost. Okay. But again, I go back to the purpose to answer your question. So the return on this investment, if I would like to call it an investment, not a cost, the return on this investment is what your purpose and what you're achieving. So today, for me, meeting multiple customers, going and looking for new customers for my organization, obviously this has a time, which has a cost. But at the same time, if I'm securing more jobs for my organization, making my organization more known, etc., this has a good return.
Look, for me, the cost is, as you said, it's big and real, and it's time and effort. And the most important is the emotional side of it. So when you want to be in power, also you need to be prepared that people perceive you, judge you. They always have assumptions. So you need to be ready with that and push your way forward. Definitely, also the one thing I would see that the most important, don't lose yourself and keep the purpose within yourself, because sometimes you might be deceived in power, which you might lose it in 1 second, right? Don't take anything for granted. So the most important for any leader, yes, you can gain power, but keep the purpose in yourself and how people perceive you. This is something very important, and be ready for it. You want to get power, you need to have the outcome that will come with it.
Don't change your values. Values are very important.
Ethics and
value.
value.
Today, if you have a purpose and somehow you're applying part of the principle to achieve a goal, you cannot ignore the people who helped you to achieve this goal. You cannot change your values. You cannot change. Obviously, we need to change and improve, but don't change the principle. Don't change the values.
That will never
don't change the foundation.
Yeah.
Many people that gained power and occupied position, you see them that they became more arrogant, less people-oriented, less caring about people, etc.
And this is scary from the power.
This is scary and this is bad.
Yeah.
So practically, the best thing that you achieve your objectives through power or any other skills or tools or principle or technique, the best thing is you maintain your values, you maintain your principle. So people will see you always in a positive approach, always with respect. And as leader, the more you have people respecting you, the more you can implement your vision, communicate your strategy, and inspire others. Leadership is all about inspiring others.
Yeah, definitely.
And staying humble. So, and this is another thing that I somehow reflected when I was taking the course. Is it being powerful? Is it against being humble? Okay. And I see it again, there's no discrepancy. You can have power and remain humble. You can be, and this is not my wish, you can become a president of a country. And we have many examples around us where people remain.
So, look, you're at a position of power today, and you get to choose how to manage your people. And as a parent with your leadership skills, you're inclusive, you're fair, you're approachable. But a lot of people will say, on my path to power, or if you look at leaders that let's talk about, for example, Steve Jobs. He wasn't the nicest person. Far from it. He was arrogant. He was tough. He fought with people. He had questionable decisions, with his partners, and eventually got into power. And then he had a choice on how he wanted to lead his company, etc. So, here, for example, this is where I believe, Hala, you're saying, there are certain things that this is crossing the line for me, and I wouldn't do it. And I think, Joe, you kind of agree with it. But then there are others that are willing to do it. And for the lack of a better word, they're not exactly the best people on earth. They're not the kind-hearted, etc. Wouldn't you feel that then there's this game that needs to be played to get power? Would you not say, I would actually cross the line here to get power? You might not have had to do it, right? Because given where the people that you've interacted with, but in certain circumstances, wouldn't you justify it?
But again, if we go back to the purpose, and the purpose is, call it a good purpose, okay, you will never cross these lines. You will never cross your value. And you don't seek power, or you don't go through the path of power, okay, basically just for the sake of gaining power, as individual or as an organization or in specific societies and so on. So if it is for a genuine purpose and basically you stick to your values, sorry, again, I'm repeating it one more time. So why you want to cross this line? And obviously, if I need to break my values against losing power, I would not break my values.
Exactly. I believe the context is very important here. You might be in a place, competition with people that they are okay to compromise on their value, but you don't. Then maybe, again, your purpose will not allow you to be there. Your value is different, So I think this is not always, it's a game that I must win it on, compromising my value or my ethics. This is where I always challenge with that course. Even if some people are okay to lose that, I'm not okay. So I don't want power if this would put me in a powerful position.
No, but why we're always presenting it as black and white, okay? So why we're presenting it that, okay, to go through the path of power, you need to break your value. You need to break.
No, you shouldn't. But the context sometimes it might be.
And all the cases
happening.
that we took in the book, we read in the book or in the course, the leaders were the outcome or the purpose were always positive for the society, for their organization, for themselves. All the cases that we took were really the outcome or the purpose was always a positive purpose, better purpose for the nation, for the society. So this comparison, and maybe the recommend to the professor, and it's too late now, but to change the word, because sometimes people, they perceive power as bad, okay? And you could be, again, a powerful Formula One driver, but you're a good Formula One driver. It doesn't mean you could be a powerful president, powerful CEO, but it's not being a bad CEO. And you mentioned somehow that in some cases, as leader, you need to make the tough decision. I see this is in some cases a right approach. You need to be open to hear others. You need to be open to get others' opinion. But in some cases, in some crises, as a leader, you need to make a tough decision, because maybe you're having, not every day, but maybe you're having a vision and you're a believer of this vision, while people around you, they don't see this vision. So if you're crossing the road with your child and you see a car gonna hit him, you're gonna push him and throw him, which is not the right approach. but your purpose basically is
away from the car. Away from the car. Just so that we're clear. Away from the car. Yeah. I mean, look. When we started this, I said there are people that called Dr. Pfeffer as the devil. His opinion is that to get power, there's a game that needs to be played, right? It's the path towards power. And if you want to achieve power, this is the framework that he set in place. And this is how he believes that people should get to power. And, ironically enough, I get asked this quite often. It's, why did he write this book and why does he talk about power so much? And he said it. He said, it's a game that needs to be played and we need to have more good people in powerful positions so that we have a better world. So, to me, this is why I subscribe to his teachings. And, you might not agree with all the techniques. It's good to be aware of it because somebody does. And
Look, at the end, we always say power is not a dirty game. You need to know how to play it in a smart way. Definitely, you need to get out of your way, be visible, and work on your network, because I think this is something very, very valuable that we need really to look as an area that we want to develop ourselves as a leader.
Yeah, and create your brand. Really, is it bad for an organization without promoting any brand now to create a brand?
Yeah.
Today, when I go to the supermarket, to the grocery shop, to pay, let's say, to buy a soda, I don't want to promote any brand now. I go directly and buy a specific brand because this brand is powerful because of advertising, etc. Maybe the taste doesn't change a lot, but this is a brand, and this brand created something that attracts me to go and buy this brand. So this is power.
The other day I attended a workshop talking about how to create your leadership brand, to create a sentence or statement saying this is my leadership brand, and then work on elevating it, on expanding it, and believe in it. Definitely it should come from the heart.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of, if I can use the word, simulation between individual and organization, like reputation, which is part of a brand. It's very important for an organization. And how many case studies we took in different courses in Lead, where many multinational organizations, they had to protect their reputation and their brand through problem that happened. As individual also, we need to protect our reputation and brand.
Okay, Joe, how would you define power?
Simply, it's like any leadership skills. It's a framework. It's a group of principles that helps you to achieve purpose.
I like the purpose. You emphasize on the word purpose, and I really can relate to this. This is where it's the compass of the leadership when I say it.
Absolutely.
Saif, what about you?
Oh, it's tough to to follow Joe with that answer. I feel, look, I kind of agree with what Dr. Pfeffer says, that power is a game, and it's a game that needs to be played. So to me, it's a game. I think that would be my answer. Yours?
Okay, again,
you put us on the spot. We're going to put you on the spot.
Okay, that's a great question now for me. I believe power is having the right people with you, because once people believe in you, this is where you can inspire, and this is what make you a powerful leader. Definitely, it's something that we can learn, we can elevate with the techniques that we have discussed today. I would like to thank you, Joe, for your time today. And it was really great debate, discussion, insightful. And to close, to say power is not a dirty game. It's something that we can learn, something that we can elevate as a leaders. Thank you for joining us for today, listening to our podcast. Follow us on LinkedIn and our Instagram. I will put it now in the hashtag, and stay tuned for more topics. Thank you so much.